Okay, some people had asked if I could do a tutorial on this poker video. I did hide that background for a moment. And I'm going to show you how to make this, and hopefully it can be informative but not too long. I'm hoping to make it reasonable. So everything that you need is in CreateStudio, except this transition I did bring in, and this background I brought in. You can go to Media, Stock, and I looked for poker background. There are some in here. It just wasn't what I was looking for, so I did bring it in from an external image. So you can bring your own in, you can look through the stock that is here, whatever it is that you want. The other thing that I did bring in were the symbols for the cards, because I just couldn't find, I didn't take a whole amount of time to find all of these images that would be the same look when I know that I can do it easier somewhere else. So I just brought those in. So let's look at what I did. All right. First, what I did, I am just going to change this background a little bit because we're going to work with some colors. And we can always bring the background over after, change the background color, but this will make it easier to work. I went up, I chose a rectangle, and then all I did was make it into the size and shape of a card. But I don't like the square look. So if you grab the nodes, just a little bit of a curve. I think that's enough, right? That doesn't look too bad. And then I just made it white. I was thinking of making different colors because you see cards like that. I just kept it really simple. And then I just put a border on it. I think I used black. You can do whatever you want. And I'm not sure I remember what I did. Let's look at what 4 looks good. So we're just going to do that. And then I had made it to go to 20 seconds. And then you can always shorten it after. It's always nice to have it long enough. So then just click and drag it to whatever duration that you might want. So if I go from 24 to 44, that's 20 seconds. Then what I did is I duplicated this. I'm going to do Command D, or you can just click duplicate. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to use this one as a mask. So I'll show you at the end. What we're going to do is set up our card. So first I'm going to go into the media, and I never really knew which. I was thinking I might do an outline, and then I didn't know what I wanted, so I brought both of them in. But I decided to go with the colored, the full colored. So I detached the mask, and then I just cropped it. It's still there if I ever want it, but see, it's still there. But I got rid of it. Then I attached the mask again. I grabbed the corner and scaled it down, and you're going to size it to whatever you think you need for the image. I'm just going to put 2 on there. I have 4 in my video. I originally had thought I was going to do a card win with a full house or something. And when I used characters, that kind of defeated that purpose because I couldn't do it. And so I ended up with this instead. So I just duplicated this. And for the purposes of here, I'm just going to put 2 of them on. You can do whatever you want. You can put 5 if you want it to be the 5 of clubs, or 6 of them, whatever it is you want to do. Then I went in and I grabbed a character. Let's just grab the first one that's there. I'm going to size her to what I think I'm going to want. In the video, I had her hugging a dog. I'm going to click on the label and disable the start and the end, and then drag it the duration of. I think if I were doing this for real purposes and it wasn't just for fun, I might change up the action to then reflect whatever the voice was saying in the video or what have you. So I might change this up because this gets a little boring that you just keep seeing the same thing over and over again. But for the purposes of what I did was just for fun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Esther, the two clubs, and the background, the white background. I can either do Command G, which is what I usually do, or I can right click and group. Now this is going to be our mask. It's the same size as the card. And the reason I want to mask this is because it does get a little bit bigger. And that's not a problem per se with everything that you're doing, but it's going to overlap on cards. Then you're going to grab a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to grab when you're trying to move things around for timings. So I just use a mask. I select both, right click, mask. And I'm going to name this Esther. There we go. We got our first one. Then all I did was I duplicated it. I'm going to move it over so I can see both of them. I'm going to open it. I can open here or I can double click. Oh, I can't double click because it's masked. I always try though. I leave these on until I get my next shape because I want to just make sure that it's going to be the same size, basically in the same spot of the card, etc. So I'm going to detach, get rid of the outline. I'm going to resize. I'm going to put it in the corner. That looks good. I'm going to duplicate it, bring it down. Oh, I should have extended it before I duplicated it, but that's all right. I can click, drag, select both of them, click and bring them over. Now I can get rid of the clubs. And then I can go into my studio and I can grab another character. Then I can look to make sure that it's generally the same. Now, there are different types of characters, but I'm going to make sure that they generally are the same size and location on the card. I can always go in and change it, but I try to do as close as I can. I don't know. This is the first one I just saw. Checking phone, click and drag. I don't know why she's checking her phone while we're playing poker, but I'm going to click and delete Esther. And now we have, I don't know what her name is. I forget what her name is. Oh, she's hipster girl, right? Hipster girl. Then you're just going to do this 3 more times. 3 more times? Yes, I had it 3 more times. So I am going to speed up. You can stop the video and make your own. I'm going to record it and then make it go fast so you don't have to watch me make them all in slow-mo. Okay, so we have all of our cards. And what I noticed as I was making it is they're a little bit too big. So that's going to be an easy fix. But first, what I wanted to just show you is in my cards, I had all 4 of them. So I had the other ones and I didn't do that for here. The other thing I did in mine is because I had 3 blacks and 1 red is I did go in and change the oh, I forgot to change the name of this. I did go in and change the color of the diamond. So all I did is I went into effects and components and I went down to color fill. I dropped it on and I changed it. I didn't have the right red, but what I did is I had the red there. I had brought it in so I could get that. And I did the same thing for this one. So I just, that's just a little thing that you can do just to make it the same colors that you had. So let me just do that really quick. This time I'll take that red. It's going to be a little bit different than what I had in the heart. I guess it's not too bad. And then I also did it with this. So I shouldn't have chosen that diamond, but I did. I was going fast. I didn't plan it. So I want to resize these a little. And because they're masked, if I select them all and click and drag, they're going to do it proportionally. So they're all going to be the same size. There. Then what I did is I just centered them all. So I centered Grandma, centered. That way I knew that they were absolutely right on top of each other. And that's where I started. So I'm going to save that. So what I did is I worked backwards. If you're in education, you do universal design and you plan from the back and then you go to how you're going to start. So I did that here. I'm going to use add animation, position, and you can play around with these. I just used linear. I'm going to give it a lot of room, but I ended up shortening it. This is where I want them to end up, right here on my end keyframe. So then I'm going to go to my starting keyframe and move it where I want it to start. And then it will come right in because I already have them all centered. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the elf. I'm going to do linear, position, and then I had them all at different spots on the corners. So this is where they're going to end up. I'm going to go to the first, and maybe I'll have him come from this corner. So I moved him off to the corner. Then I'm going to do Grandma, the same thing, add an animation. This is where I want her to end up. Then I go to the first one and I'll put Grandma down here. Then I'm going to do the girl. I'm sure you don't need me to narrate this, but now I've got them all at different spots. So this is where I'm going to end up. I go here, and maybe I'll bring her from this corner. Then I'll do Esther. And I'll put her down at that corner. So now I'll just check and see how it looks. I know I spent a lot of time when I was making this to make sure that they all were starting at equal spaces, but I'm not going to take that time here, but it looks okay. So then when you play it, that's going to be way too slow. I had it go very fast. So it was probably something like this. I could look at my old one and see, let's see. I think it even went faster than that, but we'll leave it at that for right now, and you can play with the timings. Then right after it started, then I had them fan out, right? I kept Lenka at the top. And of course, I didn't do this so it makes any sense. I don't know what order I put them in and which one is on top and which one is on the bottom, but let's see how this goes. So then we're here. Then I took the elf, and what I did is I added an animation, and the properties, position and rotation. I don't want to scale it or any of that, but I did this. Then let's see where that one is. So what I did is I rotated it a little, then I shift and used my right arrow key. And that looks, maybe it's a little bit too angled. Whoops, sorry. I did scale instead of the angle. Might be, wait, why do I keep doing that? Sorry, guys. The rotation. Let's try 12. So then what we have is that's going to move out. Then let's see grandma, and you can put these in whatever order you want. I actually wasn't paying attention, so I didn't do it right. I'm going to move it. Oh, good. It's behind the elf, which is where I want it to be. Then I am going to go to properties and rotation. This is curved more than what I did in my original one. I'm not sure I like that. I should go get the positioning. But let's just do this quickly first so we can see. I'm going to click here so it's the same. Then I'm going to click and do the same thing. So I'm going to, again, stop it and do the fast forward, and then we can check the positioning. I forgot to hit record when I was doing all of this, but as I was doing it, I realized why it was looking odd to me is because I also don't have the shapes in those corners, so it was throwing off my vision a little bit. And the other is, now I remember that I did go in and do some shifting. So this character ended up not really being seen. So I went in and did some flipping of some characters to make sure that they would be visible. So now, it always goes back to the beginning. Now it's a little bit more visible, but I would probably change that action because that's not the best action because it's being hidden. So I would probably go in and change. So let me just make that idea for a minute, just so that at least it doesn't throw us off too much. But that's the kind of thing that sometimes it takes me a while to do videos because I realize the mistakes that I made. So you're going to go in and make sure that those are sized. This one should be up a little bit more. And definitely it looks weird where these three have the shapes and these don't. So we do need 4. So what you can do as well is you can go in. So I have clicked elf. You can go into the properties and see what the position and the rotation is. I have a clip thing up on, I have an app that I can save things that I type and then I can view them. But I would go in, copy those, and then this would be the opposite of that. Now, the rotation is a little bit off. What was it, 12? So I'd want to change that. And then I would check the position because it looks a little bit off. And then you're going to go in. You can check Esther. Now that rotation is minus 2184. 21. Whoop. 2184, so that you can make them the same. And then you're going to want to check the other components as well. So I'm not good. Yeah, that's really bad. That definitely, I don't know why grandma is looking so big there. No, I don't have her resized. I'm not sure why that is happening. But what you're going to do is, oh my, what happened to grandma? I'm just control Zing something. Yeah, something went a little crazy. So I'm not going to do too much. Somehow she got messed up, but control Z is my friend. Control Z is undo. You can also do that here. So for the timings, I have them zoom in, then they fan out. Then what I did is I grouped all of them. Control G. Let me move this up. Select all of them, Control G, or you can right click to group. Now I can animate them as a group. And what I did is I had it selected, add animation, position, and then I just went to the end keyframe and moved it down. So now we have them all with their individual and then the group. Then what I did, just to make life easier, is I selected this. I did Command D for duplicate, or you can do that. I took it here for the second group. And then I just rotated it. So that's where those would be. But look at that. That's going to be really confusing. So I decided I didn't really want to go in and change all the sorts of timings. So I'll show you what I did with that after. Let me just move that out of the way for a moment. And I'm going to put that under my first group so I don't grab that by mistake. Then it's the same exact thing that we just did, right? All the different timings. And then I had Lenka come out to the, what do you call that? The pile? I don't play cards too often, so I don't know what the official word is for that. So I'm going to open that group. I'm going to go into Lenka. I'm going to add an animation of position, rotation, and then I can decide whatever it is that I want to. Oh, I am sorry. I keep grabbing it and making it smaller. I can make her turn once, make her turn 1.5, whatever it is you want to do. Let's see. And that's way too slow, right? So we're definitely going to make it happen earlier. So let's see. Like maybe right here. So I'm going to go back into the group. I'm going to leave my line right here so I know that that's when I want it to start because I timed it. And then I wanted to go a little faster. Then let's see. I am going to hide that because it's getting too confusing to see both of them. There. Okay, so now we've got the bottom one all set. Now we have to figure out what to do with our second group. Now, if I leave it like this, you're still seeing all those cards, and that we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I am going to delete the keyframe. So now it's just not doing as this right here, this animation going down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Tom group. We'll call that the Tom group. And I'm just going to make that not seen. Put the opacity down to 0. Now I only have this one. Now we know that Tom's group is up here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make a keyframe. It doesn't matter what your easing is for opacity. And then I'm going to go to the end keyframe and I'm going to bring them really close together. I'm going to go to properties and then I'm going to go to 100. So now I don't have to worry about changing all the animations and everything. It's just too much and it always messes something up. Now, when this is going down, you can make Tom and the group appear whenever. I have it right here. And I can't remember when I had them join, but let's just make a keyframe here for add animation, position, linear, and then go to the end keyframe and then bring them up. Well, let's see how that looks. And now we have our second player. And now what I can do is I can even click and drag my old background and make sure that it's going to look okay. Instead of that pink background, I don't need that anymore because we have all our colors and everything. So I'm going to make it black. And there we go. I think as I watch this, I think I want to make that beginning one go a little faster, but that means I have to go into each group and do it. So I'm not going to do that right now, but I think I'd like that a little faster. But I think it also will depend on what music you play and everything that you do. I think I already mentioned I've stopped and started a number of times to make these in segments so that I can piece it together. I think I said that it's usually the timings that take me the longest on these. So I don't want to make a 2-hour tutorial to show you all of the adjustments, but all you would do is you would go in, if you wanted to adjust it, you would just click on the group, open the group, and here you can adjust Lenka. So we can make these a little bit faster, right? So I'm going to move those over. Did I just say I wasn't going to do this and now I'm doing it? All right. I might still do it faster. I don't know why Esther looks like she's slower than the rest of them. What happened to Esther? I didn't move her. That's why she's slower than the rest of them. There, now she should be caught up now. Let's see. Yeah, because we want them all to end in the middle at the same time. Then they fan, then they go out. I actually had Tom go out first, but now you're just going to make Tom go out at the same time or right before that. So we can always make her go out a little later. And you're just going to go in and you're going to do the same thing for Tom that you did for Lenka. This is now Tom though, so let me rename that. You're going to go in to Tom, and then you are going to, sorry, you don't have to go in. I lost my space because I did that. You're actually going to animate the group, and you're going to add an animation. You're going to do position and rotation. Now he's got to come up here and maybe I'll have him spin a couple times or something. I don't know. And I have to move him around a little bit because he's a little bit off, right? So I'm going to move him. It's going to be much easier if I looked at my settings. So what you can do is go in and look at your settings or set that up. Where am I? Or set that up before you start. As it is, I think Lenka is overlapping the cards there too much, but I'm not 100% sure. So let me see. This is where it would be helpful if I marked these. You can also move here and then, whoop. No, I guess you can't. I thought I could move that, but it's actually changing the shape underneath the mask. And all right, let's go in and Lenka is at -80, -465. Let me grab a piece of paper. -80, -465. And the rotation is -64.98. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you are going to make Tom end up in the same spot. All right. Okay. I'm hoping this is recording. I got a whole mess. I'm not sure if this is recording. My loom keeps going out and it looks yellow right now. So I'm not sure if it's showing, but it stopped on me as I was putting Tom in there. And it looks like I need to do a little bit more adjusting because it's a little bit here, which doesn't matter. They're going to throw their cards down however they throw them. But I kind of wanted it to match. But I'm watching my my timer to see if it's going to if Loom is going to quit on me again. But I just went in and changed with some of the settings, did some adjusting, etc. Then what I did is I again made Tom disappear. I'm going to go in there. And the reason I did that, I might mess this up, but I'm going to put a few arrows. I just adjusted my arrows a little and I did mess it up. So I'm going to undo that. I thought I was moving him down a little bit. But what I did, you're going to play with the timings. Again, that's where I spend all my time. But once they get here, I am going to make Tom disappear. So I'm going to go in the group. I am going to make a keyframe. And the reason I want him to disappear is because that's when I want the winning team to show up. So I'm going to put opacity and then I am just going to make it go away. So then I don't have to worry about animating him anymore. And then I went in. So right here is where he disappears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to my first group and I am going to animate Lenka. And that's when I did animation and I did position, rotation, and I even did some scale. And then I just eyeballed it a little bit because she won. So this is where she came up to be the winner. Oh, shoot. Did you see what I did? I didn't go to the end keyframe, and so I messed it all up. So that's where Command Z or undo is my best friend. So now this is what we have. So, oh, I did still mess that up. So here I'm going to Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Let's see. Good, she's back to the right size. Tom is still disappearing. So now I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go to my end keyframe. Let's make sure we have position, scale, rotation. Linear is fine. I'm going to just make her be the winner. Let's hope I didn't rescale her before. So nope, she's the right size. She wins. And then at this time, I also, as she was coming up, I clicked on the Tom group and I animated them away. So as she comes up to win, they go away, and then I animated all of the characters to come back up. So because I have this grouped, I have to go in and do that separately. So I'm going to animate, although I could make a group of the other 4 characters, Command G, and then I can make them position. Did I make it scale or did I make her go back down? I can't remember what I did, but they just need position and linear. Move them back up. And I think I did make Lenka go smaller again. So I'm going to do add animation. And this one is just going to be scale. And as they come, she's just going to go back to the original scale. So let's see, she goes out, she wins, she gets bigger as a winner, then they all come together. Let's see. Now, clearly I have to have Tom come out first, so I had planned it wrong from the start, but you would just have him, you would just go in here and animate him first. So I can show you, this is not becoming a quick video, is it? So I'm going to make him go first. This is when he finishes. So let's go move Lenka to after that. Because we do need, let's see, definitely need to fix some of those rotations. And that opacity has to happen sooner. And she's still a little big. But you're going to work on the timings and all of that. And as this is, I'm looking at the time. I don't know how long this tutorial is. So hopefully it was helpful. And I would love to see your creations. Now, again, I brought in but this dice is in there. And I just made some words. So you can end it however you want. And after that transition finished, I just took a screenshot right here, put it here, and then I just had a dark rectangle. So it started to get, I did a opacity with a dark black rectangle so that there was a little bit of contrast, because if that was just like that, it doesn't, the words don't really stand out and all of that. So I just like to put black on there. All right, I hope this helped in it. Now I'm going to see how long it is. Happy creating.